Hey guys, Jackie M from Masters of Malaysian Cuisine. Why can I hear myself? Did you have me open on a separate tab? Okay, never mind.
No.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It's Jackie M, and I am here for another session of different ways to use Malaysian ingredients. And this week we are focused on Malaysian coconut water. If you use coconut water for anything at all, let me know. But as usual, I've got Paul, my MOMC co-founder, here with me, and Paul is going to kind of bounce off, some stuff that
Pretend I know everything about coconut water.
Yeah. By the way, guys, don't forget to say hello and let me know where you're watching from. And what we're going to do, you can see in the overlay that we're going to be doing mango sticky rice and kind of like a shortcut way, and also braised chicken in coconut water. Okay, let me just quickly, now that I just mentioned mango sticky rice, I'm just going to turn on
Just check your RTMP because I'm not seeing it coming up on your page.
Let me have a look. Okay. It is there, yeah. It's showing up in the events that I created for it. So if you go into like the live tab, you should be able to see it. Okay. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. And by the way, I got a bunch of you guys with suggestions on how to use coconut water in your cooking. So we're going to try and run through them while during the session itself. But yeah, just let me quickly turn on my steamer here. Okay, so we are started here, and don't forget to say hello. Let us know where you're watching from, and hit me up with any questions that you might have regarding these dishes. Okay, so Paul, I'm just going to ask you one question. What do you like? What is your experience with coconut water? What do you use it for?
So I haven't used coconut water in a good couple of years, but when I used to use it, it sort of got popular in South Africa a couple of years ago. You know, as this health drink. And so what I used to do is I think after cricket or when I was playing cricket or something like that, I'd drink coconut water because it has electrolytes.
Electrolytes. Okay. My experience with coconut water is quite different. We didn't call it coconut water, by the way. We called it coconut juice. Okay. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more about it because I want to get started first on the cooking. So I'll say goodbye to Paul now, and I'm going to change my layout. First of all, I'm going to change it to this layout because I want to show you guys my laptop, which is a Lenovo Legion. Okay, this is what I use to broadcast all my live streams. Okay, just a quick shout out to Lenovo for the laptop and all the gear that I use for my sessions. Okay, so anyway, guys, thanks again for tuning in. And like I said, we are doing mango sticky rice and we're going to do braised chicken in coconut water. Both of these recipes are going to use Malaysian coconut water. So this is from Malaysia. Keep your eyes peeled for it. New product, I think, in Australia, newish product in Australia. So
I don't mean to be that person, but I'm not seeing it anywhere on Facebook.
Oh, that's weird because it's showing up in the event here. Oh wait, there's no option for me to go live now. Okay, let me just post the page. Okay, save changes. Okay, get started. Okay, let me just have a look.
Okay.
So live video. Thanks everyone for your patience. For those of you who are watching, don't know what's going on. Facebook is being flaky. Save changes. Yeah. Live video. It's showing up in the preview, but there's no option for me to actually just go live.
Is there a go live button at the bottom?
Yeah, but it's grayed out. Okay, just let me go live. Complete post details. Okay, what does it want me to? Okay. Okay, so that's that. Okay, go live automatically at scheduled time. Okay, let me just, okay, click go live now. Okay, can you see it now, Paul?
Just give me 1 second.
Okay, now it's showing up. Okay, sorry guys. Thanks everyone for your patience. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, sorry for the preamble because we were having some issues on Facebook. So hopefully everybody's on the same page now. Say hello, let me know where you're watching from. I'm Jackie M, and I specialize in Malaysian cooking. I used to own a restaurant, blah, blah, blah. But I am doing this series of live videos around the topic of Malaysian ingredients made easy. And each week we focus on the different Malaysian ingredient. And this week we are doing Malaysian coconut water. Okay, so this is available here in Australia. We're gonna show you guys where you can look for these products a little bit later in this broadcast, but you might have just caught Paul, my partner in crime. Paul is based in South Africa, and he is the token white person I can hit up regarding like some of these things that we're going to cook. But in this session, we're going to make mango sticky rice, and we're going to make a braised chicken in coconut water dish. Okay, the braised chicken dish, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a heads up. It's something that I kind of made up. Okay, all right, so let's get started to do mango sticky rice. Okay, I think most people would know mango sticky rice quite well. So what we're going to do to start with, okay, and if you've made mango sticky rice in the past, there's some coconut water from a previous pack. I'm just gonna add in here. If you've eaten mango sticky rice, you would know what it involves. It uses glutinous rice over here, okay? And if you've made mango sticky rice in the past yourself, you would know that you would just soak the glutinous rice in like tap water for maybe like a few hours or something like that. That's what they usually tell you to do. What we're going to do is we're going to make two changes to that. First of all, we're going to boil some coconut water. Okay, now because of the technical issues earlier, I'm just going to repeat some of the things I said earlier for those who might have missed it, who are just joining us now. But I grew up calling this coconut juice, okay, not coconut water. And later on during the cooking segment, right, we're going to bring Paul back on, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some of you guys' suggestions about how you use coconut water. But you know what, before I forget, let me just change my layout again so you can see what's going on a little bit clearer. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm just at that little thumbnail over there. So you see the tip of my laptop over here, that's my Lenovo Legion. That's what I use to do all my broadcasts. And Lenovo, I just want to shout out to Lenovo for you supplying me with the technology for me to be able to do all this. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to bring this coconut water to a boil. So the two changes we are doing is that we are not using just regular tap water, we're using coconut water. Okay, and by the way, for those of you who are a little bit, I keep harking back to the time when one of my Australian staff members told her story of deciding to make her own coconut milk, right? So she went to, some greengrocer, and she saw these whole coconuts, like these whole green coconuts, and she brought it home, and then she cut it open, and she thought she'd be able to scrape the flesh out to make coconut milk from, okay? And she couldn't understand why it was all gelatinous, and it didn't work out, obviously. And if you're Malaysian, you already know where this is going, which is that, where does coconut water come from, and what about coconut milk, blah, 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 okay? So when you buy a whole coconut at the store, it either looks green on the outside, or it looks like it's been kind of like, usually, frankly, in Australia, they would have cut off the green skin sort of thing so that they're smaller. So they'll look like kind of like a pale, like, caramelly color, right? That's for drinking, okay? That's young coconut. And the young coconut, when you cut it open, is where you get the coconut water from, okay? Which is what we're using now. Now, young coconut has that gelatinous meat, like coconut flesh, right? Which is delicious, right? But these are just the coconut water itself. It doesn't have the coconut flesh in it, okay? Now, if you want coconut milk comes from old coconut, the husky coconut. Okay, so this is boiling. What we're going to do is, like, this is my sticky rice, okay? Glutinous rice, and you can buy this easily. Sometimes it's called sweet rice or something like that. You can find this easily at Asian grocery stores, along with Malaysian coconut water. So what we're going to do is, usually you would soak this in cold water for a few hours. What we're going to do is we're going to soak it in boiling coconut water for 15 minutes. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. We're going to set this aside. Let me just cover it with something. And let it do its thing. And then after that, we're going to steam it. Okay, so using boiling, hot liquid basically just eliminates the need to soak it for hours and hours. All right, that's kind of like my hack for it. And in the meantime, let me just turn this down. Okay, I've got a steamer going in the back and we're going to sort that out. But while all that is happening, while we're waiting for the rice and while we're waiting for, the steamer's ready, we're going to make some sauce, okay, some coconut sauce for this dish. And by the way, it doesn't have to be mango, right? You can use any kind of like, truthfully, I like tropical fruits. So I like durian, truthfully. So I might make a batch with durian in a bit, okay? So I've got this. And you know what? Just kind of like a carryover from last week's session. We're going to use coconut milk. Again, Malaysian coconut milk, right? Like I said in last week's sessions, if you really want your dishes to pop, right, you really want to impress your friends, use good quality coconut milk. And in our case, Malaysian, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to heat up some coconut milk here. Okay? Because like I said in one of last week's session, like, the cheaper coconut milk, like you wouldn't know they were coconut milk. They might as well be cream or milk or something like that because they lack that nice coconutty flavor. So yeah, if you want something that tastes really authentically Malaysian, go for Malaysian coconut milk. Or I just pay that little bit extra. I'm trying to find my spatula. Okay, so I'm a big spatula person. I can't stand like stuff that aren't kind of scraped it down, And yeah, guys, don't forget, like I said, stick around because we're going to go through some of you guys' suggestions that you submitted by email about how you use coconut water, okay? And is coconut water and coconut juice, are they the same thing? And also, like, kind of like, like, do you use it in savory or in sweet dishes? And does it make any difference, right, in the flavor of your dishes? Okay, so this is a can of coconut milk, Malaysian coconut milk. We're just going to add a pinch of salt to this, okay? And then I'm going to add a bit of sugar. I'm just going to put 2 tablespoons of sugar here. And we're going to actually, that's not all the sugar we're using. We're going to add a little bit more later on, okay? So we're just going to stir this, simmer this till the sugar's dissolved. Okay, so if you're just joining me now, this is recipe 1, which is mango sticky rice. Debbie, hey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in, guys. For those of you who don't know, Debbie too is the queen of Nyonya cuisine, as basically what the acclaimed chef Yotam Ottolenghi described Debbie, right, himself. He thinks that she is the top notch. If you're interested in Nyonya cooking of any sort at all, make sure Debbie Till is the #1 name in Nyonya cooking around the world, okay? So thanks for tuning in, Debbie. And Rose, how you doing? Great, thanks for tuning in, Rose from Sydney, Australia. Okay, so this is dissolved. Okay, we're going to set this aside and forget about it for a bit, okay? Because we're going to get back to it in a while. So let me just move this. And how is this going? Okay, so this is still soaking away. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut up the mango. Got my cutting board. There's my mango. I'm just going to turn off the heat on the steamer for a little bit. Okay, so this is mango here in Australia. It's not peak season anymore, but I was lucky to be able to find some still. But kind of missed the whole mango season this time around, truthfully, because, you know, COVID and lockdowns and whatnot sort of stuff. But usually here in Australia, mango season is like that December. I know because like usually at Christmas, family Christmas, we would have lots of mango to eat. Okay, so yeah, like I said, if you're just tuning in, we're doing a kind of like a shortcut mango sticky rice thing. And you know what? How am I going to cut this? I'm trying to think. Okay, I'll cut it into cubes. It'd be easiest. You know, most Australians, they will like cut it like this, right? If you're just eating it straight, it's kind of like slash it, slash it, slash it, and then just invert it and serve it like this. But what we're going to do, we're going to take it off. Okay, we're going to just leave it in cubes. I'm going to use a spoon for that, I think. Unlike Debbie Teo, I'm not much of a sweet person. My specialty is actually hawker food. And within that context, mostly like hawker meals, you know, kind of like savory meals. But I'm going to show you with the next recipe, which is savory with chicken, my idea of how to incorporate coconut water into a chicken dish, okay? So let's just put this in here. Do another one. Let's see if I can just cut it like this. What's your favorite type of knife, everyone? I'd love to know. I know a lot of people are big on Japanese knives nowadays. When I had my business, I used to go for the cheapest knives that you would find at Asian grocery stores. You go to any Asian grocery store here in Australia, near the counter is usually where they keep it. You see like all these cheap like knives that cost a couple of dollars. That's where most of my knives were bought, right? So I was never the sort who had like a fancy set of chef's knives and like different knives or whatever sort of stuff. I used to get those. And nowadays, well, this one is from Aldi. If I use brown sugar, how much tablespoon I have to add? My house, no white sugar. Oh, no white sugar. Yeah, just the same amount. Just a couple of tablespoons. It will change the visual aesthetic of it, because guess what? Some of this coconut milk that I just made is going into your rice, okay? So if you use brown sugar, or better still, Malaysian palm sugar, it's going to produce like a coconutty thing. Without getting too fancy, the sharpest one, a cleaver from Chinatown, always does the trick. Spoken like a true honorary Asian. Okay, cool. Let me just move this out of the way. I might seem a bit pedantic here, but actually this is not my real kitchen. You know, this doesn't have any kind of like running water for me just to like clean up properly. So I have to be very careful I don't have like stuff just dripping everywhere. Okay, so let's have a look. This is the sticky rice. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to steam this. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the steamer. And this is my thermocook steamer. Kind of does the same thing as a Thermomix. Okay. I'm trying to cheat here a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put a, no, I don't think it needs a cloth. Okay, so So let's put this here. We're gonna stick the rice in here. Who likes mangoes? Who doesn't like mangoes? I'd love to know who doesn't like mangoes. Okay, so we've got the rice here. We're just gonna steam this for about 20 minutes. And while that's happening, we're going to move on to the savory, okay? Okay, so I've set that to steam for 20 minutes. I've got the mango, I've got the coconut sauce and whatnot. And like I said, we're going to move on to the savory. And savory is kind of like my vibe, you know. But like I said, I'm kind of like, I explored a couple of recipes when it comes to using chicken in coconut water. And we're going to do one on this coming Thursday where we're going to use prawns. This is something I did grow up eating, but today we're doing a chicken in coconut water dish. And what it is I'm going to use some chicken legs. And this is kind of like my hack, all right? Who here loves Hainanese chicken rice? Let me know, because I think you're going to appreciate this, okay? So anyway, what we're going to do, you know what? I'm going to do the rice bit first, because this is kind of like a simplified thing, okay? So we're going to do the rice first because the rice will take a little bit of time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry up some garlic. Lots of garlic. And if you have an onion, you can add a little bit of onion. You know, I'm just going to quickly grab some. If you caught my session last week, you will see like I mentioned that I've got onion and garlic that are pureed, minced, whatever, that's ready to go in my fridge. That just makes life a lot easier. I'm just gonna actually take out a little bit of garlic, and that's a little bit excessive because I'm not cooking that much rice here. Okay, so primarily garlic with a little bit of onion. If you've got ginger, you can add a little bit of ginger. I don't know if you guys like go visit Indian grocery stores will have these. These are garlic and ginger mix, and put a little bit of that. It kind of like helps to kill two birds with one stone, except that it doesn't quite have as much garlic as I want. But I'm going to add it because it's got. I want that little bit of a ginger vibe to it. Obviously, if you've got fresh ginger, even better. Okay, just mince it or just throw a couple of slices of fresh ginger in here. You see, I'm frying this in a non-stick pan. Like I always tell you guys, what I do nowadays, instead of heating up the oil and then adding all this wet blend of spices, causing a lot of like splatter, a lot of mess, I tend to use a non-stick pan and fry them till at least some of the moisture has been pulled out. That way, when I add the oil, it doesn't spit so much, okay? So you can hear the sizzling, and that just indicates that there's still some moisture in there, and that's okay, right? You can kind of like just love mangoes. Rose loves, I like mangoes. Debbie, you know, it's funny because I'm actually doing, we're going to talk a lot more about durian this year, by the way. For durian lovers, make sure you stay tuned. And by the way, we have a website, MalaysianDurian.com. Go to that website and sign up there, because we're going to keep you updated on some exciting stuff we're doing with Malaysian durian this year, okay? Okay, so, but yeah, tropical fruits are like my favorite, right? So I'm just going to add some oil here. You're going to be pretty generous with the oil. You just want to saute it till it's lightly brown. But not too brown, you know. Okay, I'm adding some rice here. This is jasmine rice. You can use basmati if you like. If you want to do it the proper way, you would rinse the rice first, okay? But I'm just throwing everything in together because we want to fast track this a bit. Just mix it through, and I'm going to add a little bit of sesame oil. And then transfer it into a rice cooker. Off. Monty Burns, how you doing? Twitch people. Okay, so this is if you're just joining us now, this was some sauteed garlic, a bit of onion, a bit of ginger that I've just added some rice to, and obviously some oil. And what we're going to do, we're now going to cook it all with some seasoning. Okay, I'm just going to add, you can add a little bit of salt. I'm just going to add a little bit of chicken powder, okay? Salt or chicken powder is fine. This is just to give it a little bit of flavor, okay? It's not to just kind of like make it like overpoweringly strong flavored. So we've got that, and then we're just going to add, where is that? I'm going to add the leftover juice from the that I used to soak the sticky rice or the mango earlier. Okay, waste not, want not. Coconut water. And, you know, I've got some chicken stock. This is very intense chicken stock, okay? And, you know, I've got chicken stock came from, something else. I made some Hainanese chicken rice last week. And, like, after making the rice, like, I had all this chicken burn because I actually served the chicken rice fillet sort of thing. So all the burns I threw back into the pot and simmered them every single day until I got this really intense, like concentrated chicken stock. Okay, obviously if you don't have chicken stock, don't worry, just use water. Okay, but I just need to use up the chicken stock, so that's why I've got that going. Okay, so I'm just going to cook this as though it was like normal rice. Enough water? Yeah, it should be okay. And you saw me stick my finger in there. That's how we Asians measure the water level that go into cooking rice, okay? Just a touch of plain water in here. Okay, so I'm just going to cook this as though you would cook normal rice. Hopefully this doesn't trip my power because I've got the steamer going full blast and I've got this going as well. Both of them run off the electricity. Well, let's leave this out of the way. And now we're going to cook. We're going to simmer the chicken. Okay, so I've got 5 chicken legs over here. Just let me scrape off the. Oops, it did trip. See? Okay, let me just fix that up. Sorry guys, just give me a second while I rewire this. Let's just turn this back on. Temperature, everything had to be reprogrammed. Heating and time. Okay, so hopefully that's good. So let me just try and plug the rice cooker into a different power point. Fingers crossed, it'll be okay. Okay, let's see how we go. All right, yeah, thanks again for tuning in, guys. For those of you who's joining us, make sure you say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And let me just keep scraping the rice granules off this so that we can start with the fresh pot. Okay, so we got this. We got 5 chicken legs. And I'm going to add, and these are actually offcuts of onion bits, right, from other cooking sessions. I always save them. You know, when you're slicing onion and then you've got like little bits left over, I'm going to throw that in, okay? So this has been sitting in my fridge for a bit. You know, I'm just going to throw this in too because I'm not about to do anything with it. It's just going to die in my fridge. Just cut it up a little bit. Okay, so in this goes. And this is where we're going to add coconut juice again. Okay, I'm just going to turn this on. I'm going to add other stuff to it, don't worry, but I just want to get this cranking already. So coconut water, okay? New York, USA, yay. What time is it over there? You're staying up late. Okay, so we got that. We got the onion. We're going to throw in some garlic. Okay, again, minced garlic, you can use whole garlic, doesn't matter, but since it's already minced, I'm just going to throw that in. I'm going to bring out some flavor. And you know what? I'm going to use this product again, okay? So this is, again, the garlic ginger mince that you can find at a lot of Indian grocery stores here, at least here in Australia anyway. So that. I'm going to add some white pepper, if I can find it. Here you go. White pepper. And whoops. And here you can add some salt. I'm a night owl. Yeah, me too. I'm going to add some chicken powder in lieu of salt. You can use either or. And if you want, you can add a pinch of sugar as well. Okay, I'm going to leave that out. I'm just going to spread this out a little bit. Okay, don't forget, guys, hit me up if you've got any questions in the meantime. Okay, we're just going to simmer this till it's done. And this is going to take a few minutes, but also it'll give us the opportunity to talk about a bit more about coconut water with my partner in crime, Paul Gray from South Africa. Because, you know, because I'm from Malaysia and I grew up in Malaysia, sometimes things like, you know, all my perspective is kind of like, obviously from my life experience of, it's always nice to bounce it off other people who may have grown up in a different setting. So this is simmering away. Let's see if Paul is around. And by the way, guys, don't forget, if you want, don't forget to sign up, all right? If you want the recipes for the entire series, you need to sign up at malaysianchefs.com/join today, which I'm sure Paul will pull up on screen in a second. If he knows where to find it. I set all this up. That's why other people get lost.
I got it.
Okay, cool. Let me actually switch my camera view again back to so you can see my face for a little bit.
There.
Okay, so here I am. And okay, so there you go. Want the recipe, sign up, Malaysia. That's the wrong one. It doesn't matter. You can
hold on.
sign up there too. I'll be sending recipes to everyone who signs up one way or another. Okay, but you want malaysianchefs.com/recipes, okay, which will work, but that one is fine as well. Also, before we forget, where can you buy all these Malaysian ingredients? Okay, now if you're in Australia, we're pretty fortunate in Australia where you can really find Malaysian ingredients even at like your local supermarket shelf. Okay, but if in doubt, Asian grocery stores, and if you're in Sydney, Australia, just have a look at Malaysian groceries punch bowl. Just Google them if you're in Sydney here, and they tend to carry a wider range. Some stuff that are maybe a little bit more, I guess, more niche. Okay, but if you're looking for Malaysian products, just Google Malaysian groceries punch bowl, and you'll find them there. And if you're in New Zealand, look up e-packs.co.nz, and that will they apparently are the distributor for Malaysian products in New Zealand. Okay, so just look them up. And also, yeah, I have, like I said, what I do every week is I email all my newsletter subscribers and ask them about how they use all these Malaysian ingredients. And I love your suggestions. So we're going to go through them in 2 seconds while I just kind of make sure I just turn this. Okay, so Paul, you mentioned earlier your association with coconut water is as essentially like a sports drink. Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, is that how most people think of coconut water? Because it's quite different. What is a classic Malaysian dish? A classic Malaysian
Nasi
dish?
lemak.
Nasi lemak. Okay, let me just spell it for you, and you can, Paul can spell it for you, and you can Google it. And the other one would be laksa, maybe, or char kway teow, which is my specialty, right? In case people are just tuning in for the first time, I'm Jackie M, and I used to own a Malaysian restaurant here in Sydney, Australia. Gave it up about nearly 10 years ago, not quite, about 9 years ago, because Noah came along. Noah's my child who's got Down syndrome, and he was very sick in hospital for months and months and months. Okay, so there you go. Those are some dishes that you can Google to find out what they are. Better still, look them up on my website, Jackie M.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you're Googling it, just add Jackie M at the end. That's what I always do.
Jackie M nasi lemak, Jackie M laksa, Jackie M char kway teow, and you see my versions of these dishes. Okay, so yeah, coconut water, Paul, as a energy drink or something like that, or kind of like a sports drink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A nutrient replacement drink.
A nutrient replacement drink. It's really interesting from a marketing point of view because, like I said, when I grew up in Malaysia, we drank coconut water pretty much all the time. Okay, you can buy coconut. We didn't call them coconut water. We call them coconut juice. But we didn't think of it as like a nutrient-rich drink. We just thought it was delicious, right? And usually, actually, Paul, these vendors. These hawkers in Malaysia or street stalls, right? They would sell, they'll have 2 things on their menu, coconut juice and sugarcane juice, okay? So, and the coconut juice, they actually have syrup, okay? So they have a separate thing of sugar syrup. So you got coconut juice, it will come with the coconut flesh, and then they might ladle some syrup over it as well, sort of thing. So we actually liked it quite sweet, okay?
That defeats the whole purpose.
Well, that's the thing, but we don't think of it as a healthy thing, but you can, okay? But obviously, these aren't super sweet or anything like that, okay? You can, if you like it sweet, just add some sugar to it, but it's not noticeably sweet.
Depends. I was gonna say it depends on the brands, but there's ones that have more of that almost toasty coconut flavor.
Really?
I don't know if you guys get that. Yeah, I like those ones personally. Yeah.
No, you like this one, baby, because
okay, I like that one.
Yeah, the Malaysian ones. Okay, so yeah.
I'm sure they make it as well.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and ask them. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of your suggestions, how you use coconut water, and if you've got any that you want to post in the comments right now, please feel free to do so, and it might get featured in the notes that will accompany this series. Okay, so what you're going to do when you sign up is you're going to get all the recipes, you're also going to get all the notes and whatnot, and also you get up to date with everything else that I do and that the masters of Malaysian cuisine do. Okay, so I posted a question last night, didn't give you guys a lot of time to answer, but I asked you guys what you use coconut water for. Now, I have a reply here. Mala is actually one of my coaching students. I never talk about this because I just don't have time because we do 50 million other things, Paul. But I actually run an online coaching program for students who pay me to learn how to cook Malaysian food at the level where, you know, it's good enough to sell. Okay, that's the point, because that's my background. Okay, I'm not just some random food blogger or Instagrammer. But anyway, Mala says the Indians use coconut water in making appam or hoppers, as they're also known. The fermented rice batter that is cooked and has been and has a soft, spongy center surrounded by a crispy shell. Right. Also, we use coconut water sometimes when we make payasam, or the vermicelli pudding that we serve at weddings and the like. The most famous version is made with the tender coconut flesh, which is delightful in the hotter months. Okay. So she actually posted a link, but I don't have it here, but I'll share it in the notes, okay? Because it's a URL that has photos and whatnot as well about how they look. But yeah, the Indian string hoppers, Paul, you remember our MOMC chef, Dave Murugaya made it one time. You know, the rice thingos that are pushed through a mold. You don't remember?
I do remember something going through a mold.
Noodles, but they're served with like coconut and brown sugar.
Oh, yeah. I remember those things.
So that apparently traditionally is made using coconut water in lieu of just straight water. Okay. So that's very handy. And, Elizabeth Rainey said, I use coconut water to make the base jelly for 3D jelly art. Who knows what 3D jelly art is? Okay. I learned this a few years back in Singapore. They do have edible 3D jelly art in Malaysia too. Check it out when you're back in Malaysia, Elizabeth Rainey. And she mentioned also, she actually forgot to post a picture. She goes, hi, Jackie. The 3D jelly art is actually, she actually even shared a, hopefully it's okay. She actually posted a YouTube video as well for another thing. Okay, but the 3D jelly art, basically you can imagine it's like a cake, but that uses jelly, like in lieu of like sponge or whatever, right? Flour and stuff like that. But just let me share a photo with you that she sent through of her 3D jelly cake. Okay, it's pretty interesting for those of you who don't know what it looks like. Here it is. So let me just pull it up, share.
I don't know how much effort it takes, but by looking at it, I always think these things must take a lot of effort to make.
They do. Okay, so this is Elizabeth's 3D jelly cake. Okay, so you can imagine a cake that's got all this beautiful artwork, and the base is jelly, and it uses coconut water. And someone else mentioned as well, the reason they use coconut water is that it produces like a very clear, a really clear kind of like result, as opposed to something that's foggy. So that's something to keep in mind if ever you make jelly of any sort, even if you don't want to go to the trouble to make 3D jelly cake. Okay, so let me just quickly check on this chicken. Let me just change the screen for 2 seconds and see how we go. Okay,
I was going to say,
yeah.
I was going to say, coconut is a very versatile thing. Like, I mean, even the coconut water you can use for like so many things. It's actually worth it just to keep some in your like pantry.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So this is coming along. You see it's reducing. Okay. So we're going to cook it till it reduces and the chicken cooks through. Cover it some more and cook it a little bit more. And let me just change the layout back to more. Okay. So Paul, let me just bring you back on. Okay, there you go. This is from Fauzia in Pakistan. Okay, think of this, right? It's fascinating, the different cultural backgrounds of like our followers. Fauzia says, hi, Jackie. As far as coconut water is concerned, all I remember was that my mother said I should drink a lot of coconut water when I was expecting my first child. It was believed that the child would have a beautiful shaped head, just like a coconut. So if you want your kid to have coconut-shaped heads, okay, drink a lot of coconut water. She said, "Oh, funny, isn't it? Maybe that was a way of encouraging pregnant women to drink it because it actually is full of vitamins." There you go. How about that?
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if I want a kid with a coconut-shaped head, but the idea of being healthy when you're pregnant is a good idea.
Paul, is coconut water a good hangover drink? You would know.
I don't remember the last time I was hungover.
I'm talking about using it as like.
But to be honest, it would be like just from like common knowledge. I've never tested the theory. I guess I'm gonna have to go out drinking tonight.
Right. Okay. So like
But
this
I'm
still
sure it should do the trick.
nearly done. Okay. But
okay. That was a question. Okay. I was wondering why you were asking me.
No, I wasn't trying to troll you on anything. Okay. So another person posted, and I think this was Elizabeth as well. Okay. Hi Jack, I found this YouTube video using coconut water to add to a collagen-rich dessert prepared with white fungus. As soon as I hear white fungus, I know it's a Chinese recipe. Semi-ripe papaya and red dates. That's also a very Chinese thing, red dates. Okay. All ingredients good for the complexion, and white fungus is good for males too. I don't want to.
I can assume what for. Our hair, obviously, like we lose hair.
So the Chinese are very big on like collagen-rich food. Okay, it's a little bit like not something that I kind of is on my radar, even though I'm Chinese myself. But it seems to be a thing among people who are into healthy eating. Okay. P.S. Ling says, "Hi Jackie, I usually use coconut water to make konnyaku jelly. That's like a super like kind of like fancy jelly." For chia seeds plus berry smoothies and mixed fruit popsicles. Okay, so basically, in other words, a lot of stuff that you could make as a dessert where you would use water otherwise, you're better off using coconut water because it's healthier, right? How many liters are the coconut water that you use here? I just added one packet, which is just about 300 mils or so, or 500 mils, I don't know.
It looks like a 400 bud mil one.
Yeah.
I can't tell from here.
Yeah. Let me just check on the chicken to see how they're going. Okay. You know the chicken is done when they start to kind of fall apart. Okay. Okay. So let me just switch back to my main overhead camera so you can see what's going on. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So that's how the chicken looks now after about 10 minutes or so of braising. Let me just kind of like use some scissors to just cut through to see how it looks. Okay, it actually is cooked through. Okay, so you cut through the deepest part of it. I'm not being very elegant in doing that, right? Because obviously, if you're serving this to guests, you want them to look pretty. Okay. So I don't know if this reminds you so far of any dish, right? Because when by the way, Hainanese chicken rice is another one of my specialty. Okay, this one just maybe needs another minute or so. Hainanese chicken rice used to be my specialty, and I'm basically basing this tweak on my Hainanese chicken rice recipe. Obviously, the Hainanese chicken rice, I don't kind of like simmer this for like minutes and minutes. Okay, Hainanese chicken rice has to be very delicate, very light-handed in how you handle it and how you make it. But it basically, using chicken legs, this has the same vibe. Okay. So that's cooking. Let's have a look at how the rice is going. Okay, the rice needs a little bit longer. Okay, so we're steaming the rice, by the way. And I'm going to actually just add a little bit more water to the rice. Let me show you quickly how it looks at the moment. Okay. And I need a rice too. Which I thought I had. So let's just scrape it a little bit. About halfway done, but we want to steam it a little bit longer. Okay. It's firm and it's nearly done. I think having the power messed up the settings a little bit. Paul, can you find fresh coconut water in your place? That's a good question for Paul.
Yes, I can. Basically, every health store has coconut water. Like
There
we
you
have
go.
a huge pharmacy chain, and I mean it's not really a pharmacy anymore. I mean there's the pharmacy in the back, but the rest is like an entire store, kind of like a CVS. And yeah, it's pretty cheap there. You can get most things that you'd be surprised like that you get, like tapioca flour and all kinds of stuff. But there's like a huge coconut water section.
In South Africa, yeah, I mean, we make fun of South Africa sometimes, but yeah, they do have that stuff.
Yeah, you make fun of South Africa, but we usually have this stuff and it's usually way cheap.
True. Hey, okay. I just have one word for you, Paul.
We
Durian.
haven't been to Malaysia yet. You know what? With that, I'm out of here.
Okay, so guys, what we're going to do, the chicken is pretty much done. So I'm going to take this, but I'm going to make a sauce to go with this, okay? Now, the recipe that was originally associated with this braising thingo calls for the chicken to be like stuck in the oven and baked or grilled till it's browned a bit, okay? I've decided to skip that step. You can, if you want, you can pan fry it in a little oil, or you can stick it under the grill. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a sauce that usually would be served with Hainanese chicken rice, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to just add a little bit of oil. And you know what? I'm going to use sesame oil. And some oyster sauce. And some, this is actually also Malaysian ayam seasoning sauce, okay? It's quite delicious actually. So I'm just going to throw some of that in.
Is it kind of like Maggi?
What's that? Sorry?
Is it kind of like that Maggi seasoning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's nicer because I have to admit, Maggi seasoning was a big thing among Asian cooks for a while, but I never took to it. So when Ayam came out with their version, I kind of thought it would be the same thing, but I think I like it more. So I'll just add a bit of water to this. I added a pinch of sugar as well. And we're just simmering this. And if you like, add a touch of chicken powder as well, okay? So optional. And don't worry about the seasoning powder. If you can't get it, and you only have soy sauce, just use soy sauce. That's what I used to use at my restaurant, okay? So we've got this sauce made up. So it's like an oyster-based, soy-based sauce with a bit of sesame oil. And we're going to use this to serve the chicken with. And this kind of splattered everywhere because, because it's sauce and sauce plus oil makes a big mess. I'm just going to wipe this down a little bit. I make fun of like one of our MOMC at Heart chefs, Lisa. She's always like going around. When I see her cook in the kitchen, she can't help herself. She's always wiping things down. I actually do that as well. I'm just a little bit more surreptitious about it. But today I can't stand it. I don't want the sauce to get all over. I don't want the oil to get all over my laptop. Okay, my beautiful Lenovo laptop. So that's the sauce that you can actually just store for anything you want, right? You can keep it in the fridge, store it. Okay, it's a little bit runny here. You can make it thicker if you want. You can use less water. Let's put the sesame oil here. Let's wipe this down. And the rice is just 1 minute away from being ready. What we're going to do is we're going to cut up some cucumber. And this is the knife that I use nowadays mostly. Okay, this is like a Chinese chopper, is what they usually call it. And if you're doing Hainanese chicken rice, it's usually how we would cut the cucumber back in the day. So uneven, but you would halve it and then cut it like in thin slices. Okay.
I actually just bought a cucumber yesterday to make with nasi lemak.
Oh, nice, cool. Yeah, you'll have to show us what it looks like.
I'll take photos. The only thing is I still need a chicken.
Still need a what?
A chicken.
Okay. Cool. So this is the rice from the rice cooker. It's done. So I have everything laid out, and of course I can't find it when I need it, can I? Okay. So you see the rice here. It's nice and fluffy. It's a little bit like colored because of all the stuff that we added to it, right? Let's serve this up. With the cucumber. We did make it a little bit prettier at the restaurant. Okay, we didn't just kind of chuck everything together. We used to arrange this kind of like fanned out sort of thing. But, okay. So here's the chicken. And you can use some of the sauce from here or some of the sauce that you made up, whichever works for you. And like I said, if you want, you can also like just lightly kind of brown the chicken on the pan or something like that, right? And more sesame oil. I love sesame oil. Finally, I actually, if you guys have a bit of time, like once a month, set aside like a couple of hours, make your own fried crispy onion. Okay, that's what I do. And I just basically use it on everything. So there you go. That's the chicken braised in coconut water. Clean as you go. Bon appetit. Oui, merci. Let's have a look at the mango sticky rice next, okay? I've run out of space here, so just bear with me while I move things around. So remember this coconut sauce that we made earlier is Malaysian coconut milk. I have to specify. With a pinch of salt and a bit of sugar. This is what it looks like now. What we're going to do, this is the rice. We just transfer the rice back in here. Okay, so it's done. What we're going to do, well, most of it is done. The rest of it, I'll throw it back in. Okay, it's a little bit uneven. Okay, hopefully that works. Okay, so we've got the rice. We've got the cooked bits of the rice. I'm gonna add some of this back in here. Okay, and just mix it through. And let it just soak through. And it'll just really infuse the rice with coconut flavor. Beautiful. You know, I was going to actually put this back on the heat and add more sugar to it. I think it's actually sweet enough. Okay, so we're gonna skip that. So I'm gonna serve this up, and I had a plate all set, and I don't know where it is. So let's use this other plate. Bring back the mango and assembly time. You're going to find, right, the Malaysian coconut milk. It is not like a pure, like kind of like super like brilliant white color. The good quality coconut milk should look like it's got a hint of gray to it, which is what this does. Okay, that's when you know it's good quality. Okay, another spoon. Okay, doesn't matter. The mango. Okay, I'm gonna pour this over. And if you want, by the way, you can thicken up this sauce. I don't, you know, some people, and to thicken up the sauce, you can use just like a touch of like tapioca starch, mix with a little bit of water, heat it back up and just thicken it up. I actually am cool with the sauce being runny. I actually prefer it that way. And finally, if you've got some toasted sesame seeds handy, which I always do, just sprinkle it over, okay? Voila.
I feel like it makes a big difference.
We can't get decent mangoes in the States. Oh my goodness.
You can't get decent mangoes. What kind of third world country is that?
Yeah, even South Africa has mangoes. Okay. Oh, this is delicious. This is so good. Okay. So this is the mango sticky rice. And this is the chicken simmered in coconut juice. Okay. It looks like Hainanese chicken rice. Tastes like it too, except much easier to make, right? Because you're not worrying about timing how long to cook the chicken and yeah. Hainanese chicken rice takes a lot of technique. Okay, this one does not. So give this a shot. If you crave Hainanese chicken rice, but you want a quick and easy way to do it, and also healthy, using Malaysian coconut water. Okay, so let me just come back on camera. Let me just switch my camera view back to yours truly. Yeah. Okay, am I using the right layout even? Okay, mic stand real.
I have this feeling, yeah, I was going to say earlier.
Okay, Paul, so what do you think?
Yes.
Easy enough, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Hainanese chicken is a nightmare to time-wise, so that's and then on top of it is the mango sticky rice, is like one of my favorite desserts of all time. So
yeah. And by the way, like I said, the original recipe for the chicken pole is that you just like, you don't worry about the sauce, you braise it, and then you kind of like pan fry it, basically, you know, just brown it in one way or another, and then serve it with a separate sambal. So you can do that as well if you like stuff on the spicy side. If you don't know what sambal is, it's basically chili mixed with like different stuff, usually belacan, you know, something strong flavored like shrimp paste and maybe a dash of lime juice or something like that. So that's one way to do it. But either way, you start off by braising the chicken with coconut juice, coconut water, plus onion, garlic, ginger, and a bit of seasoning. Okay, so Pretty easy, right? All right,
Yeah,
guys.
simple,
Okay.
fun.
So Paul, when you make it, we're gonna have to see your results, okay? And if you have any more suggestions on ways to use coconut water, make sure you send them to me by email or tag me on social media, and I'll give you a shout out in our next session, which is coming up this Thursday at 7 p.m. my time, which is Sydney time, 4 p.m. Malaysia, which is 10 a.m. in South Africa, 9 a.m. in Europe, and 4 a.m. in the USA. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks again for joining me. Don't forget, sign up for the recipes, malaysianchefs.com/recipes. And don't forget to share this out to everyone who might be interested to know different ways to use Malaysian ingredients. I'll see you next time. Ciao.
Bye, everyone.